Karen, welcome to Digi Dialogue. I'm so excited to have you here to talk about SEO.
I'm excited to be here, and I've waited a while to make this happen, and I'm so grateful that you invited me. Thank you.
All right, great. So let's just jump right in. Can you share a little bit about who is Karen? A little bit of, fun facts. People don't know this about me. No, you don't have to say that. But a little bit of who is Karen, and a little bit about your business, because we'll dig into that a little bit more in a follow-up. But who are you?
I am Karen Callahan. I live in Melbourne, Massachusetts. I've been doing business as Adventures Online for 26 years, but the real Karen is a teacher at heart. That's all I ever wanted to do when I was a young child, and I was so fanatical. My parents bought me a real teacher's desk with a blackboard, and I couldn't wait for school to be over. Anyways, I had the opportunity to teach. I did that for 5 years, and then how did I get into this world? I got into this world when my town, Framingham was a town or a city at the time, I don't remember. They laid off so many people that they retrained 40 of us to become programmers. So that started the business side of things. I have 3 brothers. I live alone right now. I'm single, never been married, no children, no grandchildren. Love it just fine, because if I decide after this that I want to go down the Cape or up to Maine, I jump in the car and off I go. So I like to do whitewater rafting, reading, hiking. I like to lift weights. I'm kind of all over the place.
You're not resting on your laurels at all.
No. Well, I have 3 brothers that you kind of have to.
Yeah, living a really big
life. In my house, it was suck it up. It never was, oh, you poor thing. You have feelings? Yeah.
Oh my
Anyways.
God. Well, thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that about a lot of that stuff. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that sort of, personal stuff about who you are and what you like to do. Now let's talk about your business.
Okay.
What is your business? What kind of expertise do you bring to small businesses?
I love the way you phrase that. So there's 2 sides to my business. I build WordPress websites, and I teach and practice. I call it practice instead of, I'm trying to get away from do, search engine optimization, because search engine optimization is kind of is what we're here to talk about today, but it's an art and a science. And it's kind of like throw the dart, and you don't have to get it on the target. You just have to get around the target. So I started out, as I said, as a programmer, and then I worked for digital. So I have mad programming skills. And that is like tedium to the max. And so people often say, how can you stand this search engine optimization stuff? Because there's a lot of details, a lot of data points. And for me, it's a party, because I was at this level with Digital Equipment Corporation. I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yes. So
you know, WordPress websites, and then so how did I get into the search engine optimization? Yeah. So I did websites originally, just plain old websites, because WordPress wasn't available. Then I added blogs to websites. So that was the WordPress blogging platform. And now WordPress has evolved into a full blossom page building kind of thing. So I build websites in WordPress. After I had built, like 15 to 20 years ago, after I had built my 4th yoga website, I decided I need to find a way to help these people get found, because I want my clients to have the best. I do my best on everybody's website. But then I'm like, oh, I have 2 in the same town, or I have 2, within 20 miles of each other, or 20 minutes of each other. So that's how I started learning about search engine optimization and getting into that space.
Okay, gotcha. And I would say, why is it important for small businesses to think about and have invest in SEO? Why is it important for a small business like me?
Yeah, so it's so important, and especially post-COVID. I mean, before COVID, I was doing this work, and of course, I'm a believer of you should be doing it anyways, because you want to get found, because if you're not doing it, the person next to you is. It's as simple as somebody taking one step because the person next to them isn't doing it. So anybody who starts practicing SEO and adding SEO items slowly over time is going to benefit more than the person who is sitting next to them in their town doing nothing or in their same field. Now during COVID, of course, we couldn't go anywhere. So all those business consultants, all those website designers, all those website developers, all those people like me who practice and teach SEO jumped online. And then when they jumped online, they're like, oh, I can't get found because there's already 1.9 million like me on here. So it's just so important to get found online. You putting a website up because you want to do business and you want to earn money. First, you have to get people to your website.
Mm-hmm.
That's where search engine optimization comes in. And then there's search engine optimization. There's different kinds of search engine optimization, and I work on the website. It's called on page, but I work on the website because there's external things you can do as well.
What is one of the biggest things folks misunderstand about SEO or how it works?
Well, small companies and solopreneurs generally believe that they're powerless, that Google does it to them. That's the biggest fallacy out there. The truth is that Google and all the search engines are putting in content. So they have this thing called a knowledge graph. And it's not really a graph, but think of a huge thesaurus / word relationship dictionary in the sky. And so if you don't give them words, then that's where they take those words from, because they're like, well, other business consultants say this, so I'm going to put these words here. But if you, for example, are an executive coach to females living in Canton, or females going through transition living in Canton, the more specific you can get, the better off you are. So it's you're not powerless. Google is looking to you to provide the information. Google comes out to your website as often as you update your website. So you train Google. People think they're powerless. They're totally 100% in control. If you update your website every week, Google's going to come out every week. If you update your website every 6 months, Google's going to sit around and not come out for every 6 months.
And when you say update, is that like a design thing or just change a sentence?
It's adding original, thoughtful content.
Okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because changing, oh, Mary Lou left, so we're going to take her off the employee page and adding somebody else in, that's not a big enough update. So that's where blogging comes in, because you tend to add new material there.
Okay.
That said, yesterday you could have said, oh, we provide service A, service B, and service C on a services page. You might come back a month later and create a separate page for service A, and then another month for service B. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be a blog post.
Okay. But blogs is a good way to do it, though.
Oh, it's an excellent way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. One thing that I learned that I didn't know is that it's a misconception that if you do all the things right to set up for good SEO on your site, that you're going to get an immediate return. Doesn't it take a long time for it to catch on?
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. So what happens is, when your site is stagnant and you do anything, Google goes, whoa, and it will give you credit for that. So your SEO value will grow. And then over time, when you settle into, I'm going to update once every month, I'm going to update once every quarter, then yes, your traffic does go down. Okay. And in fact, if you're doing search engine optimization correctly, you should expect your overall traffic to go down. Because if you're doing it correctly, you're attracting your high probability prospects.
Okay.
All right. You don't need the tire kickers. You don't want the tire kickers. They're burning up your time. They're asking you questions when you're really not going to be able to work with them, right? They're not your profile. But when you get lower traffic, that's actually a good thing, because you're targeting your specific audience, and high probability prospects are ready to buy.
There you go. I love that. That is fascinating and really helpful to know. Thank you. I'm a big believer in using digital marketing, digital tools to build relationships.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, how does SEO fit into helping a business owner use that digital tool, if you will, to build relationships?
So with search engine optimization, in theory, you have a working list of terms that describe who you are, what you do, and who you do it for. All right. It's a fixed list of terms. This is how I describe myself.
Okay.
So you end up using those terms on your website. You use those terms when you answer questions in LinkedIn. Instead of saying, oh, yes, Dennise, you're right, that is true, blah, blah, blah. You say, oh, having studied SEO and practiced SEO for 25 years, I found the same exact thing. So you take those terms and you use them in your social media. Your search engine optimization is kind of like your intro also to many clients because they're being attracted to your website.
Mm.
So even your existing clients, because if you have existing clients, they tend not to go out to your website. They don't care. They've got a direct line, right? So that's where a different kind of marketing comes into place.
Mhm.
But as far as keeping them interested, you use your search engine optimization to write about the topics that your clients are interested in.
Gotcha. I'm jotting some notes here. Okay. All right. Excellent. And are there any such thing as trends when it comes to
Yep.
SEO? What do you see coming up?
Well, hello, let's talk about the big AI trend. So I don't have anything against AI except for I would recommend that people, if they use AI, just use it to get your ideas, because the whole idea behind having a website, what differentiates you from the other people? It's the way you talk, it's the words you use, it's how you do your sentences. You know, I put a blog post up today and I wrote something and then I said, what? Because that's the way I talk, right? Was that a valuable word in the post? No, but that's who I am. And someone else would be thinking, hey, that's like my sister, that's like my mother, it's my aunt. So you go for the identity factor. So there's the AI trend. Yes, it can write a blog post for you. I haven't used it. I understand that if you say, oh, in fact, I learned it here. If you switch it up and you say, oh, write it from a female perspective, it actually changes the words, which just crushes my soul because we're supposed to be all equal. But anyways, that's a different conversation. So you can start with that as a base, but you need to add your own affect to it. You know, if you press for time. The other trend is the rules in Google are always changing. And this is where I place myself. I teach words-based search engine optimization. The only thing that is not going to change is that websites are made of words. And Google has to read those words. So Google is spinning over here, changing all the rules. But if you stay constant and consistent over here with your words, it doesn't matter what the rules are. It doesn't matter what you hear about the algorithm, because all those algorithms and metrics are measuring words. It's the common denominator. The other thing is trend. So this would be number 3, and we'll stop here, is that like with mobile, one of the big things in the search engine optimization world was that people always wanted to be on page 1. Well, there is no page 1. It's the consistent scroll now.
Yeah.
Right. So there is no page 1. So that is a big change. And then there's more changes coming for people who sell products. Google's going to bypass them and not even send them to your website. And that's a whole magi tool that Google came up with.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're going to get to this. You have a treat for our in-studio guests in just a moment. But my final question for you is, what would be like the top 3 things we small business owners should think about or use when it comes to SEO?
okay. Number 1 is know what your keyword terms are. And the little giveaway that I'm going to give you is a worksheet on how do you get to those terms. So know what your keywords are and be consistent, as in my example before. You don't just use it in your blogs, you use it on your social media, you use it in your LinkedIn. Number 2 is, if you have no time at all, make sure the browser title, it's really called a document title, but it shows up in the browser. So I call it the browser title. Make sure that that is different, unique on every single page of your website. Cannot be the same, right? That's including blog posts, that's including categories, that's including tags, that's including page names. Cannot be the same, should be unique.
Okay.
And then number 3 is find and fix your 404s. My God. So if I can take 2 seconds to tell people, 404s are page not found errors, and they don't take away from your SEO in that they damage it. But what happens is when the search engine comes in, the bot that reads your website, and it finds one 404, it goes, oh, okay, and shrugs its shoulders. When it hits the second 404, instead of dedicating those 4 nanoseconds it was going to use on your website to index your content and find out who you are and what you're doing, it goes off on a tangent of, I'm not going to recommend this website. I need to find out how many 404s there are, because if this is laden with 404s every other page, so instead of doing the work, that's how you get damage. It does not give you the value that you deserve because it's off on this tangent over here. Okay. So find your 404s and fix them.
Excellent. Karen, this was so helpful. I'm like looking at my notes. I have so many notes. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Thank you. I appreciate it.